回は前回のサイドクエストの報告をしてから新しい惑星へ行きます。
People out here like you gives hope. Both of us, well, we're forever in your debt. Ah, before I forget, here, this is for you. Thank you ever so much for freeing my father.
My friend from Placid Waters! Appreciate you fetching the pitch ball Millie got me. And of course, the escort out of there. Though mostly, the pitch ball. Wonderful, wonderful. So good to see Millie again. Don't know how to do anything here, but I can sing to my heart's content. You heading out? Do take care. Again, much obliged.
新しい惑星へ行く前に新たな仲間クエストを受注しておきました。
Matter on Cloister I mentioned earlier. Well, since we're here and all, thought we might take it up now. Might be hard to believe, but 20 or so odd years ago, I made a mistake. Feels like high time I righted it. Now I'm out and about again. That's where the error occurred, I believe. Others judged it such. I shut it down. Believe I was wrong to do so. For many years now, a former colleague of mine's been in a remote spot called Reasons Pass, on account of my decision. I try not to think about regret or remorse. I shut down her work. I was wrong. Stating that out loud is the furthest extent of my self-castigation. Her research was unconventional, surely. She was as well. I think with both, we could right things, get the Order back on its intended path. Inquire away. I may even respond. I try to kill only when necessary. Granted, our missions mean that occurs fairly often. I assume that's in line with your thinking, too. Yes? Yes, this verbal resolution thing is, well, quite novel. I'm amazed how often it actually works. Keep expecting half these hullheads to argue themselves into an early grave. For a while, I'd hoped all this recent brouhaha, the schism, invasion, the rifts, was part of some long-foreseen predictive plan on her part, something oblique only at the moment. The more time passes, the less I'm inclined to give the benefit of the doubt. Maybe I'm missing a few key variables, or maybe she's a bit mathematically challenged. Are you asking me to reveal details of high-level covert operations? For the former head of the Order? To you, an agent for another party? I doubt you're willing to offer me a thorough accounting of your past assignments, and I bet the Earth Directorate had you on all sorts of clandestine initiatives. I'm not saying never, but we only just met, dear. Trust takes time. Because all the good mathematical terms were already taken by my predecessors? Because nothing gets past me, someone once thought, perhaps. I'm sure I don't know, dear. Whoever came up with that particular sobriquet is surely long since dead and buried. Hopefully by my hand. May all our endeavors yield expected results.
まずは町を目指して進みます。
These temporary indignities of the body are nothing contrasted to the Order's future. Keep those eyes open, soldiers! Corneal frostbite be damned! Hold. We're presently observing a ceasefire with Auntie's choice, but its duration may be subject to sudden reversal. Would hate for you to get caught in any crossfire. Gathering data on the enemy's movements and behavior. Blizzards raise the degree of difficulty, but that's our problem, not yours. how comforting objective truth can be. Cloister has been a difficult front, and losing the Archive, first to the invaders and now to the Protectorate, has made it even more painful. Never mind the rifts. If you're looking for a way to help us out, I recommend heading to Laplace's garden. Follow this path and you can't miss it. Only the finest place on this ice ball. Words aren't sufficient to capture its many quality attributes. Best you observe it yourself. Avalanche collapsed part of the tunnel to the garden, so the safest path is along the cliffside here. Mind your step.
My former department made its share of mistakes, surely, but there was a feeling we all had, like we were writing the universe. It was rather galvanizing.
Oh, hello. Cogitate here.
Feels that way again.
Are you saying that the trajectory of our association has reached the apex of friendship?
ここで賞金首を2つ受けておきます。
Hey, Commander. Something tells me the Order won't be keen on letting an enemy soldier walk through their gates. Reckon I ought to
Heard
step
that
away?
rift near the Archive. Halt! The Oracle Laureate sent ahead to expect someone matching your description. However, he said nothing about admitting questionable allies. Members of Auntie's Choice are not permitted inside Laplace's garden. Your companion will have to wait outside.
Huh. If only one of us could have foreseen this situation. But I'll stay back, Commander. Ain't no reason to cause a scene.
You should heed the wisdom of your friend. The Oracle Laureate is our foremost seer, excluding the presiding bishop herself. He oversees the Department of Predictive Analysis, and in so doing keeps the Order on course. Indubitably, Laureate Beckett said to accommodate you as best as possible, but rules are rules. Fine. The consequences be on your head if it proves otherwise. Head on in.
Impressed as I am that worked, I ain't sure about this. Being vastly outnumbered by the enemy ain't a corner I like to be backed into.
Agent, I have a message for you. On behalf of the Order of the Ascendant, and her impermeable wisdom, the presiding bishop Ruth Bassar, welcome to Laplace's garden. The presiding bishop is presently indisposed, but I've been instructed to direct you to the Artificer Laureate for whatever pressing matter has brought you to the garden. She's working in Belvedere Hall's secondary courtyard. Enter the large building at the top of the mesa ahead and follow the first hall on your right. The Artificer Laureate is head of the Department of Applied Scientism, overseeing the exemplars, or craftsmen, of our order. Weapons and technology all fall under her purview. Oh no, not at all. The presiding bishop routinely spends time in a sensory deprivation chamber to hone her mental faculties. Of course, she does seem to be logging more hours in the chamber of late, but I'm certain that's all part of the plan. The rest of the Laureate Council is capable of managing affairs while the presiding bishop is occupied. Really, it's no reason for concern. Nothing in the garden is. Look around you. I don't see a battlefield. Do you? I'm quite sure I don't know what refugees you're referring to. Points for emotional intelligence. Can I help answer any other queries for you? Belvedere Hall used to serve primarily as the garden's hub for all manner of research, instruction, and study. A beacon on the hill of progress. Since the Order's forced dispossession of Spyreton and the Archive, many spaces within the hall have been repurposed to serve as a temporary headquarters. Which is to say, please excuse our mess. We're still remodeling. Oh, yes. The vicar did ask me to direct you to him. How positively forgetful of me. He should be waiting for you in Belvedere Hall's main courtyard at the top of the stairs. May all your problems precede solutions.
大司教と会う前に他の人と話しておきます。
Feels real nice in here. Wouldn't mind us dragging our feet so we can enjoy the warmth a little longer.
I'm cutting you off there, Charles. That's your third conviction today. People will start. Welcome to the CAF integration point. Will it be caffeine or convictions today? Convictions are statements which promote personal and professional confidence and well-being, leading to 22.9% more scientific breakthroughs in a given quarter. Interested? Before I can administer your conviction, I need to ask you a question. In what area of your life do you feel you need the most improvement? Personal or professional? But if you had to prioritize one area over the other, expand on that for me. One day soon, you will evolve beyond an inappropriate attachment to material possessions and at last be free to acquire that which most eludes you: wisdom. Good. Never forget that you are a valuable factor in the universal equation and necessary to advancing the plan. Now then, a brief conversation is customary following the initial service. I haven't seen you around before. New project appointment? Must be an adjustment, all things considered. I'd have run the mugs through the autoclave twice if I'd known the garden was receiving visitors now. All right, your turn. What questions have you got percolating in that mind of yours? I didn't hear a question. Everyone is simply contented by the good work they're doing to advance the plan. Everything in perfect exactitude, as Vicar Udicott might say. That said, if something more sinister was going on, would that concern you? Well, good thing nothing's amiss then.
Oh,
You do a passable impression of a scientician. Did you grow up near one of our settlements? Have a few years of order training?
I'm quite sure I don't know what you mean.
Oh, I understand. You may technically count as a member, but there's a perfunctory element to your articulation. You don't believe in the plan, and you're clearly up to something. She sized you up almost immediately, Commander. Been softly probing you for information. I clocked her the first moment she opened her mouth. Appreciate that. I spent decades undercover with only self-affirmations to assuage my vacillating morale. Well, do I have to shoot up the place? Or will you come clean immediately? Who do you work for, little mole?
By the architect, keep your voice down, please. Even if what you say is true, this isn't a conversation best had amidst present company. Let's talk somewhere more private. Behind the Cath integration point, perhaps?
彼女と話すために外へ出ます。
You must be curious why I asked for such a discreet rendezvous. Allow me to whet your appetite for intrigue a little further, shall I? I have adequate reason to believe the Order is conducting a mass experiment on the population of Laplace's garden. Recall what you have observed thus far. Isn't it strange how calm everyone is? The Order is in the middle of a war. A war, one might say, they are losing. The Order is not cultivating its perfect, plan-abiding society through careful ideological pruning, as the laureates would have you believe. It's simple pharmacology. Put bluntly, they're regulating the emotions of everyone in Laplace's garden through drugs in the water supply. Why would the Order want to create a society of undistractable little academics whose only desire is to advance the plan? I wonder. I'm limiting my water intake and using other pharmaceuticals to combat the effects. It's not a perfect system, but it works adequately enough. It makes the mind quieter, like closing the door on a screaming crowd. It's not unpleasant. Depends on your definition of harm. The Order claims the subjects here supposedly consented to participate, but it was begun prior to the schism with the Protectorate, so who's to say? Regardless, if the Order has made some kind of pharmaceutical breakthrough, imagine how useful it might be to certain parties to know about it in advance. I represent a group of information traders who would pay well to get their hands on a sample of this drug. Interested? So you've heard of us. Good. That makes this easier. My primary task has been to watch the Order. But I'm confident my superiors would agree. Physical proof is of far greater value than mere rumor. Nothing nefarious, if that's the needle in your conscience. We only mean to study the drug and consider all of its many applications. I know that must read as terribly vague to you, but I'm not at liberty to provide more detail than that. All you need to do is enter water reconditioning and collect a sample of the drug. I believe they call it Perspective. This passcode will give you access to the main terminal. Watch the guards patrol before making your way into the facility. If worst comes to worst, I wager Laureate Beckett also has a keycard on him, but that might be tricky to lift. Lately, he's been sitting near the fountains, performing his silly little breathing exercises. If he's not there, then he's likely in conference with the presiding bishop. Whatever you do, be discreet. I can't have any laureates asking questions about me. Understood? What? No, absolutely not. To both suggestions. I'm asking you to be strategic, not homicidal. Pick his pocket if you must. It's too diluted by the time it enters circulation. I need the unfiltered drug, which is only accessible to those working in water reconditioning. Outside of work, I have, let's call it an alternative inventory. You'll have to pay, of course, but I'm sure I have something that'll make your job a little easier.
このクエストは次回やることにして今回は終わります。